Yesterday, we talked about some pretty heavy things. We talked about genocide. And I'm sure that sounds extreme to a lot of people. Not the viewers here, I don't think. Most of the viewers here are very aware of what's going on. That's why you've come here, because you've got a heightened awareness. And these things that we talk about here, well, they're not necessarily for the general public. I mean, they are for the general public, but the general public's not going to accept 90% of what is said here. I mean, people don't even realize that they're frugivores. I don't care what they eat. McDonald's hamburgers, bacon and eggs. If they're a full-blown vegan, plant-based diet, you're still frugivores. In fact, some of the people who are most resistant to that are the vegans. The vegans. I don't even like that word. It's a horrible word to me. I'm sorry. I haven't had good experience with a lot of those people, which is why I have disowned the entire community. I mean, you got vegan gains talking about how everybody should be inoculated. I mean, there you go. There's somebody with some real mental illness. Forgive me for saying that. Forgive me, Richard. But I think even you will admit that that's true. And it seeps through all aspects of that community. So, no, people aren't going to accept what is being said here. I am aware. And now when you're talking about this as mass genocide, well, you're a conspiracy theorist, Tassie. Yeah, okay. This is an interesting thing that I've been meaning to talk about. I've been meaning to talk about this for a while, but I think it is a good follow-up since we did talk about genocide yesterday. And this is something from Jacques Attali. I don't really know who he is. I suppose I should have researched who he is before I made this video. Safe to say that we have an excerpt here from his 1981 book. He's a Bilderberger. Jacques Attali is an example of the elite's mindset. And I think after 2 years of what has happened, if you're not aware of the elite mindset, their eugenics agenda, which has been in place for probably hundreds of years. If you're not aware of that, especially in these days with the population growth, I think once the population of Earth started to get into the billions, that's when they really wanted to kill us. But they've been killing us for centuries, have they not? Think about it. Think about it. Here is a quote from his book. "The future will be about finding a way to reduce the population." Now, this is Georgia Guidestone stuff. Whoever put those up, I think the rumor, it's probably a little bit more than rumor, but what I'm hearing is that was Ted Turner, and Bill Gates, I believe I'm correct in saying, financed those Georgia Guidestones. I mean, they just popped up. Who is the mayor of that place? And the governor, we know they're corrupt. I would have put C4 on that thing and blew it right out of the ground. Anyway, one of their tenets on the Georgia Guidestones is to keep the population to no more than 500 million. And, our dear Klaus Schwab, who's a Rothschild, by the way. These people are all connected into these bloodlines. We live in a neo-feudal system. Have you figured that out yet? This is neo-feudalism. And we are the serfs. We are the peasants. Yet the serfs and peasants have gotten a little bit too much power. They've gotten a little bit too much prosperity in the first world, not in the third world. Not in the third world, where people are practically slaves. And I could tell you more about that, being very aware of the third world, having been intimately involved with a Cambodian family. I know the suffering of those people. I know the poverty of those people. I think the average salary in Cambodia is $3,500 a year. And that's not to say that certain Cambodians aren't prosperous, because they are. My dentist, obviously, my Cambodian dentist from Rumchang Dental Hospital is obviously prosperous, but he's an expert. One of the best dentists I've ever been to. He's in the top 1% of dentists I've been to. At any rate, as per Jacques Attali, the future will be about finding a way to reduce the population. Of course, we will not be able to execute people or build camps. In other words, like they would like to. You know, these people are Nazis. This is the Fourth Reich. And if they could execute people and throw us into the ovens like the Nazis did the Jews, I'm sure they would do it. We've already got quarantine camps in Australia for people who haven't done this. You see, this is just an excuse to exercise tyranny over the population, over the serfs, over the peasants, to squash our prosperity and our liberty that people have died for. We get rid of them by making them believe it is for their own good. Sound familiar? We will find or cause something, a pandemic targeting certain people. Well, this time they targeted the whole world, did they not? They didn't go for the small fishes, they went for the one big fish, the entire global population. A real economic crisis or not? Well, they did cause that too. They caused that too. They crashed small businesses. They tried to destroy the middle class. And you fools, and you know who you are, Anomaly, I'll call you out since you have a large following, spewing the nonsense about Trump pushing this. Even Sasha Stone. Come on, don't you get it? You're intelligent people. You're intelligent, perceptive, sentient people. Did you not see what was happening and why Trump had to do what he did? Do you know they had this already. They had it ready before we even started this. Back in 2015, Fauci was negotiating. They were negotiating on how to divvy up the profits of this. Fauci has sent the code to Moderna in November 2019. The so-called genetic code, for the spike to Moderna in November 2019. That was a month before there was any so-called outbreak in Wuhan. So this was all planned. If you can't see it by now, well, like I said before, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You are a fucking idiot. So they had the shot ready to go, but they withheld it. They were going to withhold it until 2024, 2025, until the middle classes of the world were entirely devastated. Remember, the neo-feudal system. You can't have a real feudal system and real control while you have a prosperous middle class. Just think about it. While you have an independent middle class, think about it. You need to make those independents dependent on you. And that's what they did. They printed money. They paid people to stay home. Meanwhile, destroying medium and small businesses. One business stood up, and it's right up there. It's called the Attila's Gym. Ian Smith and Frank, they stood up and said no. Had every business done that, we wouldn't be talking about lockdowns. Had you people not put this thing on your face, we wouldn't be talking about any pandemic or any genocide. If you could but think for 30 seconds or 60 seconds without some absurd notions creeping into your head, some fantasy, some fear of a phantom. And that's what we're talking about. Fear of a phantom. Because SARS-CoV-2 does not, I repeat, does not exist. If it has, show me the evidence. The only thing you could show me is this confounded genetic code which was created in silico. And we've said it over and over and over again. What does it take to make people see? Well, you can't make people see who are hypnotized. You just can't. You can't. The only thing we could do is keep speaking the truth. Keep hammering that bell. Pray for the world. Pray for the upliftment, the salvation and enlightenment of the world, because enlightenment dispels all darkness, because enlightenment is light. The word is in the word, enlightenment. The word light is in the word enlightenment. We'll find or cause something, a pandemic targeting certain people, a real economic crisis or not, a virus affecting the old or the elderly. You know, all the deaths caused in the old age homes? That wasn't caused by any pathogen. That was caused by the intervention of deadly and toxic drugs. Midazolam in the UK. Remdesivir in the United States. They murdered thousands of elderly. They euthanized thousands of elderly in the nursing homes. This is when we saw that spike. I think it was April of 2020. And we were all wondering, what's that spike about? You see how they twist, cloud, and confuse? This is pure evil. A virus affecting the old or elderly, it doesn't matter. The weak and the fearful will succumb to it. The weak and the fearful will succumb to it. It's always fear that these evil and dark forces use. It's always fear. The stupid will believe in it and ask to be treated. Ask to be treated? They're banging down the door to be treated, to get this. They're banging down the door. Sir, you gotta put that mask on, sir, says me. Well, I'm gonna get security, sir. Well, get security then, says me as I keep walking. I'm not a slave. Do you get it? Look at me. Do I look like a slave to you? Do I look like a slave to you? Look at me. Look at me into my eyes. Do you see a slave? Do you see a coward? Do you see a man filled with fear? Is that what you see? Cowards, fools, and slaves to put this thing on your face, to cooperate with this evil. And if you cooperate with evil, you become evil yourself. You immerse yourself in darkness to where you can't think, to where you become hypnotized. Hypnotized with fear, hypnotized with lies and propaganda, because that's all we get from the mainstream media. That's all we get. The stupid will believe in it and ask to be treated. We will have taken care of having panned the treatment. Well, of course. Why were they suppressing treatments? I'm not for these drugs, but like I said before, if someone's dying, yes, of course. Save their life with some treatment. But HCQ and Ivor, these things were very promising, but they were suppressed. Horse dewormer. Joe Rogan took horse dewormer. Shut him up. He had two doctors with resumes a mile long, with credentials a mile long. Shut them up. Our treatment, the idiots might catch on that our treatment is killing them. Shut up, Joe Rogan. Take him down. Ban Dr. Malone from Twitter. Evil social media. Evil. You've got mainstream media. You've got the medical syndicate. You've got the pharmaceutical syndicate. Mainstream media. The government, which is bought and paid for and blackmailed. Every branch of the government has been captured. All of this working against us. This is a war. It's a war between the people and the elites who are trying to control the people. It's a war between good and evil like we've never seen before. It's an information war. We will have taken care of having panned the treatment, a treatment that will be the solution. The selection of idiots, it's nice to see what they think of you. The selection of idiots will therefore be done by itself. They will go to the slaughterhouse alone. They will go to the slaughterhouse alone. What have we been saying for 2 years? You can go back. I've gone on record. You know, these videos don't get a lot of views, but I have gone on record, publicly gone on record, saying these kinds of things. Not so I could say, I told you so, but maybe you might pay attention to me next time. Because we're not done here. Do you think these people are just going to give it up? They're losing this battle because people are becoming more and more and more aware. There is a greater enlightenment. There is light on the horizon. But like I said before, we've got to hold that line. We must be absolutely defiant. We must defy all tyranny, defy all evil. We must not cooperate with it. We must be peaceful. We must be nonviolent. And we must be absolutely defiant.